Hey, before we get to the show, I just wanted to remind you about one of our sponsors, exitgroup.us. If you want to build a business, start a new career, or just get to know cool guys, the kinds of guys who would listen to this show, check out Exit Group. That's exitgroup.us. All right, now on to the show. Well, welcome everyone to the Granite Mountain Movie Club. Today we're talking about Rookie of the Year from 1993. And as I mentioned a few times, this is part of this summer I'm kind of focusing on nostalgia movies from the 90s, particularly movies that were made for kids that, feature kid actors. Just some stuff I'd wanted to get to for a long time and figure make a little series out of it. And today, got a good guest. I don't think he's been here for, it's been probably 2 years or over a year. Yeah.
It's been a while.
Got Glen Rockney from the Rare Candy podcast.
Yeah. Hey, I think last time was Zodiac, right?
Yeah, which was definitely at least like 18 months ago.
It's definitely a while ago. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, your stuff seems to be going really well. You've got like feels like you got a big community around everything you're doing. You've got, what are all the shows you guys have got? And kind of for anyone who isn't familiar, what is the sort of universe that you've built?
Yeah, it's funny. I mistakenly Cy setting up my co-host. For anyone who doesn't know, Cy is setting up our website right now, like our kind of regular website, and we bought the domain name Industries, Rare Candy Industries. That's not live yet, but we bought that domain name, and I was like, wait, so that means we can do whatever we want if we're an industry. To my knowledge. So yeah, we have our regular show that you get, once a week on Spotify and Apple. We don't really cover any one topic there, but we'll talk about current events and stuff, but also stuff like CKY and things like that. Like it's definitely loose and kind of erratic and schizophrenic at times in terms of subject matter. And then on our premium feed, which is on Substack, rarecandy.substack.com, we have Gain of Fiction, which is my, at this point, bi-weekly fiction podcast. Cy has his own book club for like woo-woo hippie stuff, which is really fun too. And then I walk around my neighborhood sometimes and talking to a little Tascam field recorder, and that's called the Glen Word. So I mean, it's just Rare Candy though. Like that's like, I feel like at the end of the day, it's like a TV channel. I've always wanted this to become like a TV channel, kind of a I don't know. You see the way people do it on YouTube, and they'll just be doing a million different. You'll see YouTube accounts where guys are trying the new Chick-fil-A burger, but then like reviewing Sinners, and you're like, well, in a different way, we're doing something like that.
Yeah. I always wonder about that. Like, because I do this movie thing, and I'm like, but I also talk about music sometimes, and it's like, do I want to branch out? Do I create a new channel, create a new feed, or whatever? I mean, at this stage, no. It's like too small of an audience. I just keep it all in one thing. But yeah, I wonder about that. Or like, do you confuse people or dilute it by like having too many things? But ultimately, like, it seems like what you guys are doing is working. And like I say, the thing that I notice is the community. Like, you guys have like, you just guys have a ton of people in your orbit that are like that pop in and out, and they're all talking to each other, and it's really cool. I'm very envious, but
it's a good hang, man. It's a good hang, really. Like we've Cy and I are like good friends in real life and have been since middle school. So hopefully that energy comes out in terms of like the people we have on and the people that are drawn to us. Certainly certainly there's people that were once friends that aren't anymore, that happens too. But for the most part, like it's pretty chill, like what we do. And it's fun. And like, if you talk, we're around, our Discord's cool and everything. Definitely expect more drama. And, I'm always like, that's always the trade-off, right? Is like, I kind of like where we're at right now, but obviously to keep doing it, it needs to get bigger. So, I mean, I'm never going to stop, for the record, never going to stop doing it, but everybody knows the trade-off if you've ever done this before. Like there's times where you're pushed to the gills and busy and stuff. And for it to really become like stay in the forefront, you have to expand. But then who do you let in when you expand, right? Think about this country right now. Who do you let in when you expand? Bad hombres. That happens. You get more hate and everything. And I'm like, that does suck. That does suck. Because right now it's in a really good spot, but it's also not sustainable in terms of a career at where it is. So
yeah. And I have been wondering about that lately. Like, I do wonder to me, it always seemed like, if you go and like start a YouTube channel or a podcast or something, I think people in the real world or like the normies or whatever would sort of look at that and say like, well, that's not like a real thing to do. That's not like a real, like that can't be a job. But like with more and more with like AI and stuff like that, I feel like the only job at some point is just going to be like people talking and having opinions. Like that'll be the whole, there's like a couple really smart guys who build the robots, but then like everyone else will just be, talking, having YouTube channels, content creation. I don't know. Sam Hyde was saying something about this too the other day. And I can kind of see that future.
Sam's been on the money. Sam's been on the money about a lot of stuff. I think him being a kind of postmodernist in a way, the postmodernists are right to a degree, right? Of how we consume everything, how we talk about everything. I know people who will listen to whole podcasts about movies that they haven't seen yet to decide whether they see it or not. Then the imprint of what was said to them is in their mind while they're watching the movie. It's we're in a very postmodern time, and you're right. Like, there are people that go, well, it's not a career. I go, but on your lunch break, what do you watch? These people, like, on their lunch break at work will scroll through a million different content creators who make money, or some do, some don't. But for the most part, if that's showing up on your mass feed that way, like, chances are this person at least has a BetterHelp sponsorship or something, like, or Athletic Greens or something. So yeah, I don't know. For me, I'm kind of like trying to have my cake and eat it too. Like, it's definitely a necessary part of my life to do this. And I would truly do it for nobody, for just two listeners or whatever. But also there is still that like, hey, like, how far can we push it? There's a lot of like-minded people, like me out there that let's see if we can reach them, which is the hardest part, right? Is it's the market's very flooded right now, and it's really hard to get a signal boost.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always been my thing too. And I have had like a little bit, and this is coming off the heels of me, like lately I've been trying to push like actual paid subscribers and stuff more because because I'm unemployed, which and like and when I started it, I'm like, I never thought I'd make real money, and I guess I don't, but I make a little, and it's like it's an amount that's kind of meaningful. So yeah, I do push it more and more. Anyway, I don't know. It's I'm interested to see where it goes. But yeah, I'm I love what you guys are doing. Everyone should go check out the Rare Candy universe of podcasts. Support them, and of course support what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I need you guys. I legitimately need the money, and I've been telling people this too. Like, sometimes I get these DMs where people are like, "Hey, I would love to, but I'm broke or whatever." Like, if people are legitimately broke, let me know. I can give free access or very, very, very discounted access or whatever. So,
and I sometimes I don't know. I know what I'm always careful of talking about people's finances and stuff, but I'm like, I legitimately don't have any money, and guess what? I never change the stuff I'm subscribed to.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean? I just laugh because like there's like what people will be like, man, I can't wait till you cover this, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to cover this, and then you'll put it behind the paywall, and they'll go, when are you going to cover that? I go, well, it's there. It's like, oh, will you charge for it? I go, isn't that not supply and demand? Like, is that not like, did you not? There was a demand you made, and I put it out. And it costs, I'm sorry, it doesn't cost hardly any money. It's like a Starbucks order, like, a month basically. And so I understand that. And there are people I know, I've had like guests on who've come on behind the paywall, and I'll let them have the episode. Like, here, you can have it. You can send it to your friends if you want. Like, if you want people to hear, I have no problem with that. Sometimes people DM me and I'm always just like, dude, come on. Like, I'm fighting. Like, I don't make a lot of money doing this. Like, it's a lot of time. I mean, to be fair, I will say Rare Candy does not lose money. That's the good thing about it. I mean, we don't bill our own hours to the company, so maybe it would, but I guess for the most part, like, it's very low overhead. It's just, it's time. I mean, you have kids, you have children. It's a lot of time to like sit down and silence for 2 hours, put it out, do all these things. It is a lot. I mean, I hate people are always playing the sad violin music when people talk like this, but you know how it is. How it is. Yeah.
I mean, my policy right now is that if people reach out, and then very few people have done this, because I think the act of like having to just go and say like, hey, I'm broke. Like, like I figure if they're at the point where they would do that, then they probably are broke enough.
I say screenshot your checking account. Let's have a look. Don't put any information in. Let's have a look. But no,
if I started getting enough, if I started getting a lot of people saying that, I'd be like, I'll give you a week or something like that.
Well, what I would do, I think a real thing is, because a lot of people will say like, hey man, like this one episode I really like him, and especially for us, like for a single book, and they'll be like, God, it's like my favorite book. I don't have I'll just be like, what's your email? I'll send you the MP3. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to do a little work. You got to listen to the open file on your computer. It's not on your phone, whatever. Like that's a compromise I will make. I will make, where it's like, okay, here you go. But you know, it's just funny because like I know it's actually like probably the cheapest thing right now, like is what we do. If you think about it, like, because everything else is so expensive. Like it's just, which maybe that's the reason people are broke right now. But I think it's funny too, because I've been out of work for a while now too, for a different reason, but it's nonetheless, it's still out of work. And I'm kind of like, I hear you guys.
Well, I hope people don't mind me talking shop, because I've always been interested to hear behind the scenes.
Yeah, for sure.
So I hope people don't mind. But anyway, with that, we'll jump over to Rookie of the Year, 1993, directed by Daniel Stern. You know, of Sticky Bandits and Wet Bandits fame from Home Alone. Mm-hmm. He was. I think it's the only movie he directed, and he's also, of course, in the movie as Brickma.
Yes.
Who appears to be a little bit of a controversial character. We can maybe get into that among the Rookie of the Year fan community.
I don't know about this. You'll have to explain that to me.
Yeah. Well, I'll just do it now, just because we're there. But I mean, it's basically like I've seen a lot of complaints in reviews of the movie about his character, which is because he's doing something he's like doing a different kind of comedy than some of the rest of the movie. Mm-hmm. And there's almost like, there's like three kind of tones to the movie. It's a little messed up in that way, because so the movie starts, and like what I noticed is just that opening stuff where it's like opening day at Wrigley Field, and they've got real film score going that was made specifically for the movie, and it looks really nice. It looks kind of like a more serious movie than it ends up being. And then you have these like cutaway scenes to the booth where John Candy is the announcer, and he was not, as far as I can tell, this is sort of based on rumors. There's not like an official statement on this. He was sort of added like later, like that. Like, I think they realized they needed more, and they needed a little bit more juice. And he was really big at the time. And so as a favor to I'm kind of like shaping this. I'm kind of making this up, but I'm reading between the lines. As a favor to Daniel Stern, he jumps in, he does a day of filming these like this stuff. And because you notice he's only in that booth. Like, every time you see him, he's just right there. So, but like when they go to him, like feels like a different movie too. Like that feels a little bit more like, a higher tier, like 1990s SNL movie or something. Mm-hmm. And then you got like the action, like the child drama stuff. And like that feels like a sort of more of a Disney movie almost, or anyway. So it's kind of like, there's like tonally a couple different things going on. And then whenever Brickma shows up, it suddenly turns like, for like 15 seconds, it turns into like Three Stooges or something like that. And it's like, that's kind of what people have an issue with. I saw a lot of reviews that are like, I thought he was funny as a kid, but then I'd watch this with my kids, and like I hated his parts. Like his parts are so dumb. Like anyway, so that's just the thing with Daniel Stern putting himself in the movie.
That's not wrong. However, I think a lot of people, it's kind of weird because I think the tone, all the stuff you said is correct. However, like I love baseball so much, and that's what like baseball teams are. You have like the weird oddball guy that doesn't make sense with the team, but everyone loves him. You have, the people you have the gristled old like emo pitcher in Gary Busey. You have the young whippersnapper kid who doesn't know any better. The whole movie's just him not knowing any better, and his just kind of bright-eyed, bushy-tail attitude, just annoying everybody off the bat because he hasn't been beat down like everyone else has, playing for this awful franchise at the time, historically cursed franchise. So I think it works. That makes sense about John Candy though, which to me, I'm thinking in the original screenplay, how do you not write an announcer character?
They may have had one, but I don't. Maybe it was just some voiceover or just some lesser known guy or something.
Oh, like you got it. Then I mean, you think about movies like Major League, Bull Durham. All of those movies have. I mean, Major League has Bob Uecker, and then you have Bull Durham. You have the kind of redneck guy making his own sound effects. There's such a major part of the movie, especially for a bad team, because like the announcer has to entertain himself a lot of times. I just like, wow. I mean, John Candy really does do a lot of heavy lifting in the movie too, because I think he's kind of a bridge between the serious and slapstick.
Yeah, for sure. He lifts it big time in my opinion. You were kind of a pretty serious baseball player, right?
Yes. Yeah. I no joke. It was my life until in high school I started messing around too much and stuff, but I still played all 4 years of high school. I threw a no-hitter in my second to last start. I was like, pretty good. I mean, was never going to be a major league player. Was never even going to be a Division I college baseball player, but I loved the game. I mean, I grew up playing with it. I was an only child growing up. So in 2001, I was already really into baseball just because my dad is super into it too. But in 2001, as an only child, and my parents were like, well, you're kind of like on your own. You're 11, so like you needed like something to do, during the summer, basically, so you're not being an idiot. And then they got me the 2001 Topps baseball card complete set, which is every player in the major leagues. I just learned it. I just learned every player. I read books upon books upon books about it, history, Shoeless Joe Jackson tier history, like just
Satchel Paige. Remember Biden? Yeah, Joe Biden used to bring him up all the time.
Seriously, yeah, Satchel Paige. Yeah, I know. He was like he played catch with him or something.
Yeah.
No, it was. He said him and Corn Pop were the same guy probably, but it was just like it's just a sentient black guy like for like a Field of Dreams or something.
Yeah,
but I was obsessed with it. I still love the game for sure. But it was just this movie. I mean, I have a hot take that a lot of people probably aren't going to agree with, but I've never been a massive Sandlot head at all.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask about.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Keep going.
I always liked this movie a little bit more, which is, I know it's kind of sacrilege. Sandlot's like a real movie. It's like, I just always thought it was corny as hell. And the lines were beat to death. Every kid would say it, every line from it. And it was like, ah. And then like Rookie of the Year was fun because it was slapstick and it just, but also kind of fun. And there was like real kind of like good actors in it, like Gary Busey and stuff. And I don't know. I always liked it more.
Oh, that is interesting. I was going to ask you, but yeah. So in the 90s, there was this wave. I mean, I'll say a wave. It's like 4 that I can think of kid baseball movies.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the ones I can think of. Sandlot, Little Big League, Angels in the Outfield. And then this one, Rookie of the Year. Maybe there was others.
There's a few. I mean, there's a few like obscure, like kind of bad ones, but like those are the good, the big ones that were successful.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you where this ranked among those.
As far as like the kids baseball movies, I mean, the best baseball movie of all time is Major League. I mean, it's pretty tough to beat that in my opinion. Bull Durham's not bad, even for how hokey it is. I just rewatched that the other night. I'm kind of on a Kevin Costner kick at the moment, but but in terms of the kids stuff, I like Rookie of the Year a lot. I just it's zany and funny, and it was kind of like cool because I was a pitcher, so I was always like, damn, a movie centered around a pitcher is like kind of fun, like a kid pitcher. So yeah, and I love all the use of like Wrigley Field and stuff and everything. So I probably have and Angels in the Outfield's good, but it's like, man, it is like if you ever rewatch it, it's boring as hell.
I plan to rewatch it this summer, but I haven't.
I think it's really boring. I mean, it was a good movie at the time, but I think I rewatched it probably in the 2010s, and I was like, it's still good. It's just really, really boring and like really sentiment, really trying to like tug on your heartstrings more than it really needs to. This movie just has a lot of fun.
Yeah. Angels in the Outfield. I plan to cover that one. I just remember thinking it was strange that this kid had like an Irish foster mom in Los Angeles, in Anaheim or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, all right. Yeah, sure.
That's right.
Yeah, no, the Sandlot. So the Sandlot was actually filmed really close to where I lived as a kid. So it was especially big in the area. It was just a big deal, and like they periodically would do like Sandlot sort of reunion things where like the
Mm-hmm.
players would come and come to like the minor league or something like to a game at the minor league stadium and stuff. So that was a really big deal. I am probably more with the crowd on this one. Like I think the Sandlot was sort of the best of the kid baseball movies, um, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad you have like a diverging view on that. And yeah, people, you probably will get some haters for that.
No, it's like a deity of a movie. If you grew up playing baseball, like it is the movie, and I always thought it was just okay.
Yeah,
Um,
and you mentioned the kids are quoting it too much. Like this one, surprisingly, had some pretty enduring quotes too. Which we'll get into. But
yeah, Bull Durham is the one they quote when you get to like middle school and high school. Like meat, calling pitchers meat, and all of these random, you couldn't hit water if you fell out of a boat. Like all of these like baseballisms that every like boomer coach that you would have swore that they made up because you haven't seen Bull Durham yet. But then yeah, Rookie of the Year's got a few for sure. I mean, like especially the kid chanting stuff, that was a big thing in Little League baseball. Was a lot of the like when he's that admittedly very annoying scene when he's leading on, when he has to hit and he gets on base and stuff, like admittedly very annoying as I get older, but we used to do all kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, did you ever play in jeans?
Yeah, constantly. No, like wiffle ball for sure, but no, I wouldn't be caught dead on the diamond.
I don't get. He shows up to his game in jeans. I don't get what's going on.
Well, he fucking sucks. I mean, like the opening scene sucks ass. He throws the ball over the fence, and his mom is just like, yeah, "You do." This is a single mom core movie, by the way. This is divorce, peak divorce. I think you were the one that said that about Mrs. Doubtfire. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think so.
This is that same era. This is that era of divorced movies.
So many '90s movies, for whatever reason, I don't. There must have been spike in the divorce
There definitely was. I think it was the first generation where it wasn't like your parents are evil for doing that.
Yeah, and so he's a single mom, and surprisingly in this one there's like that part where like the boyfriend is like, yeah, your dad is like your dad's not even here, he's a loser or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't close that thread or whatever. Like we actually never learn about the dad.
You picture that he's gonna like come back and be like, my son, like a drunk guy at like a Wrigley sports bar, like outside of Wrigley Field, like my son. That's my kid. That's my Henry. Like, you think
like
that would be
LeBron's dad or something trying to collect cash on it.
Well, and they also allude to the mom being kind of a whore too, like a few times where they're like, yeah, well, she has no idea,
Yeah, exactly. Like,
it's pretty funny.
So yeah, my dad was a baseball player or something. I don't know.
He said that's what he said at the bar that night in 1986, or whatever.
Yeah. So, but the mom. So he goes to his game. He goes in jeans. The mom isn't even there. I guess she was working at her flower shop, but
with her nice house that she got from working at the flower shop.
Yeah. But yes, he's terrible. But then when he goes home and tells his mom he did terrible, she recommends he switch to a harder position, or at least I assume pitcher is harder than playing outfielder.
You either can do it, or it's one of those ones where you either can do it or you can't. So like, obviously he can't. I mean, he doesn't even know the direction to throw the baseball. But like, yeah. So I guess pitching, it would be tougher to throw it in the wrong direction. Though I have seen some crazy stuff. Yeah, I know she does say that, and I think for the most part she's just going like, I don't have the heart to tell my kid he sucks at this and needs to try something else.
Yeah. What is this mom? What kind of mom is this? Like, I had a hard time like figuring out. I mean, in the fake context of like movie Chicago or whatever, but she's like, she's tall and she wears kind of flowy blouses, and she's. Mm-hmm. I almost want to. I mean, you guys are the experts in this, Rare Candy, but like she almost seems like she could be more of a granola type or something. But then
potential.
But then she dates that guy who's like.
Mm-hmm.
Not that. So I don't know. What kind of mom is this? What were they going for? I really couldn't tell.
It's definitely, you can tell, like, man, I guess it would be definite like 70s drug party woman, like early 80s drug party woman that like, something happened and she's like, oh, I gotta get a job. And then I used to, but apparently she's got an arm on her that she can throw. So maybe she was an athlete girl growing up or something, and it's kind of embarrassing that her son didn't get any of those qualities, despite her lie that it was her good arm mixed with a baseball player's DNA to make this kid that can't play baseball. But it happens. I mean, look at Magic Johnson's son. Like, and though I have heard he can play, I have heard he can actually play. It's just he's it's in heels.
Well, he is like 6'9",
yeah, he's huge. He's massive. it's like crazy. His name's Ernie. I know. But anyways, like I was trying to, it's like this character's just like you can imagine a past, but like you're never quite right when you do. You're like, okay, it could be that, but no, probably not. But she doesn't. It's like, because you're thinking she has that house because of like an alimony, but you're like, there's no chance there was any sort of legal paperwork done with her ex. Not even ex, probably just a hookup. And yeah, she's just one of those ones where she's like working. She probably wishes she could like help her son more, but she's working because of divorce and girl boss stuff.
Yeah, she reminded me a bit of like a college basketball player, Caitlin Clark, lanky, sort of like
Indiana Fever. Yeah, she's on Indiana Fever.
Okay, so I did an episode recently on this movie Camp Nowhere. I don't know if you've seen it.
I have not.
Okay, it's another one of these like that one is sort of like that one's kind of like Heavyweights, kind of. I mean, it's not about fat camp, but
I've seen this. It's been years, but yeah, I know this movie.
Yeah, and that one, part of what we talked about, that was the last episode I did, and part of what we talked about there was the kind of the weird way that these 90 movies, and I say weird, like it doesn't offend me or whatever, it's just an interesting thing to look back on. The way that they talked, like kids were sort of talking to each other in a more sexual way.
Yep.
And this movie, it's like, they're talking about Becky. They're like...
The lunchroom. The lunchroom scene is odd.
And they're like, she's stacked. And the guy like motions, to his chest.
They said that about her in The Mighty Ducks too. It's the same actress.
It is the same actress. And they use this. They said this. I plan to watch that later this summer too.
They said this. Well, because the whole thing is like nobody sees her without the goalie uniform on or something. But then like I think they finally do. I haven't seen that movie in years, but I thought they say the exact same thing. I'm just like, funny. Dude.
That's probably why she quit acting. She's like, now I looked her up. She does like a very unimpressive like food blog now. So, I mean, she's probably married to like a banker or something. But
yeah, exactly. She's one of those like, it costs $50,000 a month to live in the city I live in. Here's how I do it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they talk about how she's stacked and like how she's hot and stuff. It's just a little. It's whatever. I mean, that we did talk like that as kids, but
you're picturing an adult man writing that is the weird part.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like
Stephen King, like a Stephen King type guy, which that's what he does.
Yeah, Stephen King writing youth orgy scenes. Like the other movie, this Camp Nowhere movie, they go further because they have like the sort of the lead female in that one. They put her like in a bikini for most of the movie, which is so that one's a little bit more upfront about it. But it is a little weird to imagine, being the director telling the kids to say that. But whatever.
Cut that! Come on, guys. Where is the eroticism?
Yeah.
That is odd.
Or telling, I mean, these kids are old enough, but you can envision telling kids to say lines that they like don't understand.
I know, it's true. Yeah, because there's the whole like Kirsten Dunst thing with Interview with the Vampire, right? Like her first kiss was Brad Pitt or something like in that movie. Like, but
that's fun. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Another one of these things is like, I talked about the quotes, and I think the number one quote from this movie that kids used back in the day was funky butt lovin'.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't even think about it until this rewatch, but is that a gay joke? It's gotta be.
Yeah, because there's a lint liquor too, which I also thought, I was like, well, you could also kind of. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, they said that in this? I didn't catch it.
I think they said lint liquor in this one. I don't know. I've been watching a lot of baseball movies lately, so some of the verbiage may be spilling over from other movies. But yeah, I think they say that in this. But yeah, I mean, again, accurate. When you play baseball growing up, everything's gay. Like you call everyone gay. You like, there's one kid that literally like probably just takes his clothes off randomly, like, and for other reason, you find out that kid's a little weird later in life. But like there's those type of people. So it's kind of like, yeah, that is accurate, but you're like, damn, that's crazy. They're just like kids. They're saying like gay, like this guy's gay, and they're not like mean kids either. Like they're not like giving you wedgies or anything. Like they're kind of, I wouldn't say they're nerds either. Do you think they're nerds? They're not nerds, right? These kids,
this group of kids.
yeah.
They like seemed social with that group of the hot girls. So
Right.
like they're at least like, you know, kind of on a friendly basis with them. So they yeah, I think they're just kind of normal. The one friend, the bigger boy,
Mm-hmm.
he is in, so I've watched 3 movies as part of this series so far. Heavyweights, Camp Nowhere, and Rookie of the Year. He's in all 3. That kid was killing it in like 93, 95. Okay, we talked about the mom.
This concludes the free preview. Full episode available for premium subscribers on Substack.com. Thank you for listening to the Granite Mountain Movie Club.